We got a brand new leader here. Joshua Pina takes it to the lead in front of Hunter Johnson.
Yeah, that 45 truckload's charging pretty hard with that outside lane. Perfectly formed up right now, and it looks like he'll be going for the lead down the backstretch.
Stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. Oh, the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rackets regular, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Friday night, first night of the real NASCAR season. But tonight we are with you with the Relentless Racing Series, coming at you from Martinsville. Rick, it's Friday night, brother. Here we are. We're going to be watching some serious racing here. We got 200 laps here at Martinsville.
We do, Chris, and man, am I excited, man. It's Friday night. Here we are. We're with the Relentless Racing Series. Like you said, we're here at the Mayhem Mile, man, the Paperclip, Martinsville. I don't know about you, but I've already had 6 Martinsville dogs, man. You upgraded my chair here in the Hammond Hotel. I am ready for tonight.
Wonderful news, my friend. Wonderful news, and I, too, am ready. Everything seems to be a go for about 2 minutes from now. We're going to get going on qualifying. And then we're going to bring you that 200 laps. It is a little bit bigger than a half a mile track here at Martinsville. And so our race distance is going to be 105.2 miles. We've got fuel runs, Rick, that are going to last about 65 laps. And a pit speed, a very slow 35 miles an hour.
You know, that's one thing that's going to be real interesting to watch tonight, Chris, is to see how these guys get it into the pits. I mean, as you know, as a driver, we've been on this track many a times, you and I, and coming into that pit road, if you're not paying attention where you are on the track, you're going to make a mistake. So that's going to be something to be looking out for tonight.
Yeah, mistakes can definitely happen. Something to watch out for here tonight. Definitely don't want to see that happen. Not a lot of drivers here tonight. Some guys choosing to maybe watch the real thing. Some guys choosing to run the open NIS tonight. But nonetheless, we have a race scheduled. We are here, ready to go. And we'll bring you the action live here in about 45 seconds. Of course, next week we've got... Oh, excuse me. I guess we're going to start Sunday. We're going to Gateway for Blazing Pedals, the Truck Series. Next Friday night, Relentless Racing Series taking the week off. So we're going to not be here next Friday. But the big news is, Sunday night, we're going to Gateway. Even bigger than that, tomorrow. Keep an eye out for MaxSpeedTV, as a few of us are going to broadcast every now and again. The OP Racing is doing a charity race for Mission 22. If you're not familiar with that, it's something I fully get behind. Mission 22 is for veterans. Every 22 minutes, a veteran takes his life. So that is what they're hoping to raise money for. And there's going to be, like I said, there's going to be a few of us that are going to broadcast throughout the day, different times, no real set schedule. It does kick off tomorrow at 12, and Keith will be out there broadcasting the first hour. Rick, that does it, bud. We are getting ready to go into qualifying here.
We are, Chris. I'm sitting here, I'm looking at the air temperature, track temperature right now. The air temperature is a nice, cool 67 degrees Fahrenheit. That track temperature is sitting at 91, though, so it's going to be a little slick out there, Chris. We got partly cloudy skies right now. We got about a northwest wind, about 3 miles per hour, so these guys are really going to be feeling that a little bit here. I mean, it's only 3 miles, so it's not going to be too bad, but man, am I excited to get out here and start this racing.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it's going to be good. And like I said, we do have 200 laps here, a little over 105 miles. And, the weather report, just as you said, Rick. So, Martinsville keying up to get this thing started. And what hasn't started yet? Nobody's come out on track for qualifying, Rick.
Yeah, right now, I mean, we got 8 drivers that are here for the race tonight. I mean, as we talked about, low car count tonight. But that's bound to happen, Chris. I mean, the real racing season, the trucks are over at Daytona right now. They're doing their thing under the lights. And listen, it's been a long off season, man. So I kind of understand it. We also have the NIS iRacing Series starting out also. So I know a lot of drivers are, dealing with that right now. I hope to get on the track tomorrow, but I'm really excited about that Mission 22 race, and I definitely hopefully can catch with you on that and see. But yeah, right now no cars are taking the track as of right now, so that's kind of interesting to see what's going to happen.
Well, we'll sit back and watch, and I'll tell you what we're going to do until we have a driver. We're going to throw on some music and let this time pass along with the drivers out there. We'll be right back. All right, well, just like that, we've got a couple of cars that look like they might be starting to get qualified up. And we are on board right now. The 45 car, that's Troy Leonard. Short track racing here tonight, guys. And this is not something we've seen yet this season out of the Relentless Racing Series. So this is going to be, this could be interesting.
Oh, definitely can, Chris. I mean, we started out at Daytona, we went to Atlanta, Las Vegas. Last week was Dover, man. We are short track next week. Or next week, like you said, we're off, but coming back March 1st, man. We're at another short track, New Smyrna, so that's going to be fun also. But right now, we're going to see what these guys can do. As you said, the 45 Troy Leonard just crossed the start-finish line there. The 25 actually is taking a time. Also, right now, 25 James Miller sitting with a 19.798. The 45 Troy Leonard with a 19.977. We'll see what they can do in their next laps.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. We'll climb on board with James Miller as he crosses the start-finish line for his second lap. It does do a little bit better. A 19.731. Troy Leonard sitting there in second spot right now at 19.882. Thomas Wagner looks like he's getting on track in the 43 car as he heads down the backstretch, building up some speed. And Thomas looking to try and get himself a good night. A little further back in points than I suspect he'd like to be. It looks like he's sitting in about 13th spot. We will talk about points here in just a moment. Thomas Wagner with a pretty good qualifying run right there in the first lap, a 19.871. So very good first lap there out of Thomas. He's going to look to try and improve that. You see the car push up a little bit in the corner. It is short track, so a couple of different things we're going to be watching for, and that's one of them. How hard do you drive in and push up? Thomas not able to improve that first lap time. He is sitting in second spot still. Matt Gruenberg out on track in the 54, Rick.
Yeah, Matt Gruenberg, he's doing what he has to do in that number 54 machine, Chris. See what he can do here as he posts some time. Now, one thing, we're talking about, we got some low car counts tonight, but that's something that I'm not worried about, Chris. I think we're going to have some great racing here, and what that's going to be able to do is we don't have to worry about too many cautions. I mean, these guys hopefully will be packed up a little bit, having a lot of fun here. I mean, it is a short track. These laps tick off very quick. There's not a lot of room here on Martinsville. It's kind of a one-groove track, really. And right now, that's what these guys are trying to do. You see Matt Gruenberg, he wasn't happy with that first lap, so he's going to try it again. See what he can do here in that number 54.
Yeah, and while he was putting the brakes on his first lap, we climbed aboard Jeff Fisher's car, the 60 Camry, out there trying to qualify so far. He's got a 20.108 for fourth.
Now, I was just watching Matt Gruenberg there, Chris, and exactly that's what I'm kind of worried about tonight, is these guys have to be very careful hitting that yellow bumper down there on the apron. You hit that car's going to get upset. These Xfinity cars do not like it down there at all. He actually just tapped the wall there, so he's going to have to start again.
Yeah, we're on board now. Oh, actually, we're going to go on board with the 15. That's Jake McDonald. And McDonald coming down the backstretch, trying to warm up the tires of that 15 Toyota Camry. And McDonald going to be going across the start-finish line here in just a moment to start his first attempt at qualifying. Through 1 and 2, down the backstretch, out close to the wall. Gets on the brakes. Maybe just a little higher than I would think, but the 15 comes across. And right now he's got a 23.66, so good enough for fifth spot is Jake McDonald. On board now with the 16, Rick. That's Gabriel Essick.
Gabriel out there with a nice looking car, Chris. Nice bright orange and white. I love those colors.
Yeah, it's a good looking car, and it's heading on down the backstretch right now. And again, he's going to get on the brakes, and that's something we're going to have to watch out for here tonight, Rick. No matter how many cars you have out on track, braking points differ from driver to driver, so got to watch those bumpers.
Well, that's one thing that I love about Martinsville, Chris. I mean, it is a short track, and as you know from our experience here on the iRacing service, I like the big super speedways, but Martinsville is kind of cool. You would think that a lot of the passing happens in the front stretch and the back stretch, but it is so short that actually a lot of the passing goes on as you're entering or exiting the corner. And you're absolutely right. Some guys, they know how to handle these cars. They'll bring them in nice and tight, do what they have to do. But some people like a little earlier break point, because if you get too much speed, you're going to be looking for trouble here.
Yeah, it looks like we have had a couple of other drivers join into the server. We'll see if they can get themselves on track to qualify. So we will have a few other cars out there, and that's good. That'll definitely add to the excitement here on this short track. Matt Gruenberg says, okay, enough messing around. I'm going to qualify this 54 Toyota. And he heads down the backstretch. Heading into turns 3 and 4, he's going to make this lap count. Nice and low on that yellow line. That's kind of where I expect cars to be. And he crosses the start-finish line, heading into turns 1 and 2, getting ready to qualify. Again, this is a live lap here. Heading down the back stretch, the 54, very close to the wall, not touching it. That's a perfect line right there. Down through 3 and 4, hard onto the brakes. Lost a lot of speed there. And Gruenberg comes across the line. So far, it's not... Oh, he touches the wall again. Again, going to stop his qualifying effort. So Matt Gruenberg having a tough time here in qualifying. And I expect to see a couple of right front fenders looking just like his here tonight, Rick.
Oh, definitely, Chris. I mean, that's just going to be short track racing. I mean, this is like Bristol. I mean, obviously, Bristol has a lot more banking than we do here at Martinsville. There is a little bit of a banking, but it's not much. I believe it's only like 12 degrees. And it looks like he is parking it right in the gate. He says, I am done. Let me through the tunnel so I can get out of here. His car is going to NASCAR right now. But yeah, we definitely have a couple other guys. Looks like Kevin Jeterich has joined the service, Chris. We also have a newcomer, Isaiah Dupree, coming in. So that's pretty cool to see some new drivers here tonight with the Relentless Racing Series. Like I said, man, we're in Martinsville. I mean, this is going to be a fun race. It doesn't matter. I mean, 2-3 cars, I mean, you know, whatever. Racing's racing, man. I mean, we're going to have a good time.
You get me 2 cars, and I can show you a race. And with that, guys, we have about 40 seconds left to go before we go through the grid. And yeah, man, this is gonna be cool. I'm gonna enjoy tonight, nice and relaxed. We got real racing out there in the world, but not tonight. Tonight we have the Relentless Racing Series here on MaxSpeedTV, and we can't wait to bring it to you. Type a quick message over to Rick so he knows my thinking. And yeah, so we had, I believe we have 11 drivers in the server right now. Out of those 11, we had 7 qualify. Eric Lyda, Isaiah Dupree, and Kevin Jeterich did not qualify, Rick, and that is okay because we are getting ready to grid. I think it's time for a little pre-grid music, Rick.
Yeah, these guys are starting to get lined up. It's going to go pretty quick here, Chris. I mean, it is a short track here. We're going to have a good old time.
All right, starting. Oh my goodness, that's all wrong, isn't it?
It is. Let me go through it here, Chris, because I finally got it figured out. My scoring screen was all messed up, too. So tonight in the front row, tonight's pole award winner here at the Relentless Racing Series, driver number 25, James D. Miller. Next to him is going to be the 43 of Thomas Wagner. Then we got third, Troy Lenner in row 2. Next to him, the 60, Jeffrey Fisher, going to be starting fourth. Row number 3 is going to be J.R. Hager, the number 5. 6 going to be Gabriel Ishik. 7th is going to be Jake McDonald in the 50 machine. At Grunberg going to be rounding out the top or row 4 in the 54, starting 8th. We got Kevin Jeterich, as you said, didn't take time. He's going to be starting 9th tonight, Chris. 10th's going to be Isaiah Dupree in the number 93. And then we have Eric Leiter rounding out the field there in 11th in the number 33 machine.
And that is what we have as the cars start rolling behind that pace car. The 25 ducks down, and he's just warming up those tires. You can't start too early to get those tires warm, James Miller. Got to get that 25. And you see the colors there. That's breast cancer awareness. I'll always mention a cause. If it's on track, I will make sure to bring it to MaxSpeedTV. That's what we're about, Rick.
That's exactly it, Chris. I mean, it's good to see guys out there racing for a cause right now, doing what they have to do. And that is actually a really nice paint job there.
Yes, it is. So now we just wait for the pace car. That pace car has got to get out of the way so these machines can get up to full song here on this short track. 200 laps of action here tonight from the Paperclip, Rick, and we're getting ready to go. James Miller assumes the role up right behind the pace car. The 43, Thomas Wagner, to his outside. Pace car drops down, and we're getting ready for green flag action. James Miller on the pole. Green flag is out. James Miller has control of the field, but look at this. Thomas Wagner starting off strong on the outside. Thomas Wagner taking the lead over from James Miller.
Now the real fun thing is, Chris, is James Miller's going to have a lot of work to do to try to get around the number 43. The 43 has a really good line there. Had a really good restart there, as we saw, Chris, and as you mentioned, man, what an outstanding job there by Thomas Wagner.
Yeah, the inside line here, definitely the preferred line. So passing very difficult. Usually what it comes down to is somebody makes a mistake and pushes up a little bit. If that's not the case, sometimes, Rick, you gotta use the bumper.
And I have a feeling we might see that bumper a couple times tonight, Chris. I mean, it's short track racing, so that is one way that you are going to make a pass you're going to see these guys do. I mean, they're going to have to maybe sometimes move somebody out of the way. Right now, these guys doing a great job. Thomas Wagner taking the lead early, doing what he has to do. We're coming around for lap number 4 of 200.
Yeah, what I've seen out of Wagner so far here tonight is he is very smooth on that brake. You got to be very smooth on the brake. More importantly, you got to be smooth on the throttle. You got to have that proverbial egg under the throttle pedal. And so far, Wagner doing a fantastic job out front. Miller, who sat on the pole to start this one, trying to catch him, but right now losing a little time. Rick, gap is almost 0.8 of a second already. Here we are in lap number 5.
Well, that's one thing that it goes to like what you were talking about earlier, Chris. I mean, you know, everybody's going to have their own different little braking points. You know, in the back, in the front here, we see them pretty much in the file. In the back, they're kind of running 2 by 2, doing what they have to do, trying to figure out what they want to do. But if you can memorize your braking points, and if you're very smooth with the brake, you're very smooth with that throttle, you're going to do exactly what Thomas Wagner's doing right now. Right now, James Miller has, like you said, a little bit of time to make up. And it's going to get interesting to see how that works. As you said, right now, that is about almost a half a second gap right now between 1 and 2.
Yeah, so Miller doing a fantastic job right now. He's actually brought that gap down a little bit to Wagner. The real gap right now between Miller and Troy Leonard in 3rd spot. There's a pretty decent-sized gap there. J.R. Hager right behind Leonard. And then we've got Jeff Fisher. That's the 60 car. He's being followed by Matt Grunberg in the 54. Grunberg dives down to the inside, heading into 1 and 2. Grunberg looks like he's going to secure that pass going onto the backstretch. Jeffrey Fisher going to be under attack as he's got Kevin Jeterich right behind him in the 6 car.
I know a lot of these guys are worried about the low car count, Chris, but this is exactly what's going to be nice about this. These guys are going to be able to do a nice clean race. They're going to be able to take their time. These laps are ticking off like crazy already. We're moving up into lap 10 of 200. And this is where it gets fun. I mean, everybody, if you get too many cars on this track, caution. I mean, even in real life, these guys have a really hard time on this track. There's not a lot of room. And like we keep saying, you know, everybody has different braking points. Some people can really get into that corner, roll it through, do what they have to do, light on the gas, light on the brake. and they just have fun. But these guys are doing an outstanding job right now.
Very early on into a fuel and tire run. Very early on into the race, but so far it's been pretty clean. I didn't see one driver getting to the back of another, and well, that's at the start of the race, and that kind of happens. Rick, we haven't talked about it yet. We're going to bring it up real quick while the action is good here on track. The point standings. We got James Miller up front, Gruenberg out on track, Kevin Juderich is out on track, Jeffrey Fisher out on track. Position 5 by Austin Derbyshire. Derbyshire is not on track, and he's tied with Troy Leonard. So Derbyshire is about to take a pretty huge hit because sitting in 7th spot, Gabriel Essick. Jake McDonald also on track. So, man, Derbyshire, he's probably gonna lose some serious spots here tonight. Eric Lyda, he is out there, and he's currently 9th on the point standings, but 8th on track. Austin Verway not out there. So lots of names not out there tonight, Rick, but it's going to just serve to tighten up the points race even more here for the Relentless Racing Series.
Well, it definitely is. Like we said, Chris, next week we are off. So these guys are going to have a week off, do what they have to do, but they're going to be coming back to New Smyrna, and those points are going to be totally changed as we go. I mean, that comes to racing. I'm sure there's going to be provisional stuff like that, but hey, you know, it's a long season. These guys are running a 24-week race season, but you want to be there, man. I mean, you don't want to miss too many races because at some point, every point here counts. So at some point, you're going to have a lot of ground to make up, and that's unfortunate right now. These guys are doing a good job. I'm looking at the top 5 right now, Chris, to see what these guys are doing here. So far in the top 5, we have Wagner leading this race. Miller's right behind him. We got Hager sitting in 3rd, Leonard, and then Gruenberg in the 54 rounding out that top 5 right now.
Yeah, then you got Kevin Juderich, Jeffrey Fisher in the 60. He started, he's in 7th spot right now. Eric Lyda in the 33. He's running 8th. He's kind of just doing his own thing right now, keeping the car clean. That's important too, Rick. In 9th spot, you got the 15 car. That's Jake McDonald driving in the Toyota Camry. And Gabriel Essick. And he is running in 10th spot. Isaiah Dupree did not start the race, and that's what we've got. We've got 10 out there, and we're going to make a run out of it here on this short track.
Now, some of the big moves of the race so far, Chris, I mean, obviously we saw Thomas Wagner take an early lead there. He got a really good start off on the race. He went from 2nd to 1st. James Miller fell down 1. We got the number 5 car. He moved up 2 positions, sitting in 3rd right now. The 45 fell down 1. The 54 went up 3. The 6 went up 3. The 60 fell down 3. The 33, Eric Lyda, he moved up 3. The 15 lost 2 positions, and the 16 lost 4. So that's what happens. I meing, it's a short track. We're going to be looking at some banging. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, already crossing the line to start lap 20 here. Martinsville doing a fantastic job at supplying us with a very recent race. And right now, we're focused in on Thomas Wagner, the race leader, and James Miller. And Miller really gets in that corner. He's able to float that car through the center, catches the back bumper of the 43. I think that's the 3rd or 4th lap in a row that I've seen that happen. Miller maybe starting to look for a way around Wagner. I just saw him kind of dip a nose down, take a peek, but it wasn't there, and he backed off. It's a smart thing to do very early on in the race. Don't want to cause a problem yet.
Now, the real interesting thing is, though, Chris, is now they're starting to get into lap traffic already. You know, here we are, we're lap 22, almost 23 at 200. The lap cars are right there. You see that number, that orange car right there. The number, I believe that was the 16, Gabriel, doing what he has to do. Tried to stay on that lead lap, but you're absolutely right, man. Miller was able to really get on Wagner's tail there, and he definitely was peeking in on the inside. So I think he's just kind of looking around saying, hey, okay, we got some lap traffic up here. This might be a chance that I can make a move.
Yeah, and I don't know that it's done yet, although the gap has opened back up. But you see how well Miller really does get through. Getting into in the center of the corner, and Wagner able to get off the corner just a little bit better, and that is why you have the gap. So Wagner is doing a fantastic job getting off in the corner, but watch that 25 machine floats that car in there and just makes up a huge amount of distance. But he's doing it by staying off the pedal, so he might be experiencing the car being a little bit tight as the 15 tries to get out of the way of the race leader, ends up touching the wall, but no incident, no problem. And the 15 of Jake McDonald is able to continue on just ahead of Gabriel Essick. Rick Thomas Wagner has led every single lap here, including the first one. I think he was leading going into turn 1, so doing a good job tonight, and I think, I want to make sure I have it here. Yeah, we're going to go on board with Thomas Wagner right now with the gyro cam and take a peek at just what he's seeing getting through this track. You listen to how low the RPMs of that motor get going. He feathers back into the throttle, down the backstretch into turns 3 and 4. And you hear him feather that throttle again. Hard onto it, going up the front stretch into turn 1 and 2. May have pushed just a little bit right there. Hard into the throttle down the backstretch. You're not on the throttle very long here. And Martinsville is, it's a tough track now. I love this track.
It is a fun little track, Chris. And I mean, like you said, I mean, those front stretch, you know, a lot of people think, well, you know, Rick, wouldn't you want to pass when you're going straight? Yeah, of course you do.
Under caution, Rick. Hate to interrupt, but we've got Gruenberg facing the wrong way on track. So he waits for some cars to come around before he spins that 54 around. He will be able to continue on. We'll go back on the Max Speed Instant Replay and take a peek and see if we can figure out what happened. So the 54 to the inside of the 5 just barely touches him. Both cars get out of shape. 5 comes back into the 54. That's 5 is J.R. Hager. And that's what caused that incident. We'll go back and try and find a different angle. Here we are. So they're on the back stretch right now. Gruenberg to the inside. And just made the slightest amount of contact. Sends both cars a little a tizzy. Both cars will be able to go on from here, Rick. And that did bring out the first caution. And under caution, looks like everybody is pretty much going to come around. You got a few cars that were a lap down. They may opt to get their laps back as we're only on lap 31 of 200. We do have stage racing here at Relentless Racing Series. First stage is going to be at lap 65. So in theory, these cars should be able to make it. The ones who haven't taken a pit stop, they should be able to make it on fuel if they decide to stay out, and that's going to be the real challenge.
Looks like everybody that came down pit road is now done their service, Chris, doing what they have to do. One thing about Martinsville is you want to be very, very careful on what you do because it's very easy to go a lap down here. But these guys did a good job. Looks like pretty much everybody but Gabriel and Matt Gruenberg and Jake McDonald did not come down for a pit service at all. Looks like Gabriel might be, yep, he's in the pits right now getting his service done.
So Gruenberg and McDonald opting to try and get laps back. They were down a lap, and they'll be able to do that as soon as the pace car lights go off. They'll go around the pace car, rejoin the lead lap cars at the tail end. And like I said, I think that's probably a good move. You're a lap down. It's relatively early in the race. You know there's a stage race coming in. Oh, the 15 decides he's going to tuck down onto pit road before this restart. So Gruenberg stays out. He'll be the sole car to take his lap back. Pace car lights are off. The 54 goes around to rejoin the tail end of the lead lap cars. Pit stops here, Rick. Very, very, not the pit stops themselves, the pit road speed. 35 miles an hour. You have to be very good about getting on and off under caution. And we've got the pace car off track, getting ready to go back green flag racing. Thomas Wagner on the pole at 25, hanging back just a little bit. Wagner hard on the gas, may have spun the tires a little bit. He was so hard on that gas. But he is up front, heading into turns number 1 and 2. James Miller right behind, and it's closed up the field a little bit, Rick.
Yeah, it definitely has, Chris. I'm actually looking at those pit stop times that we just were talking about. Looks like everybody was right around 12 seconds, so you know, not quite a lap down, but something that they definitely have to worry about if those crew guys are taking a nap or anything like that, almost like I am in my new chair here. Man, this thing's comfortable. But, you know, they're pretty quick, and so that's kind of interesting. But yeah, I definitely think Thomas Wagner, I was actually on board with him doing a little chase view there, and he definitely did spin his tires a little bit, but hey, he's not letting them slow him down at all right now.
Top 4 car is pretty much nose to tail, and then there's a little gap back to 5th place runner. Hager goes around. Just as I was about to say his name, he was going around in a circle. Didn't really hit anything, so no damage on the 5. We're going to have to go back and take a look at that one. That was pretty cool. We hit MaxSpeedTV instant replay yet again here, Rick.
Yeah, not getting well, there's a little bit damage there on that Ford Mustang, Chris, but not too much. Man, that was crazy.
They dove down under the 15. 15 had a little bit of momentum. Got into the backside of J.R. Hager, and around he went here at Martinsville.
I gotta say though, Hager did a really good job, Chris, there, doing what he had to do to control that car. I mean, yeah, he did do a spin, but he kept it off the wall to even get even more damage on that number 5 car. What an outstanding job. But that's short track again. I mean, these guys, you think you have a little bit of room, but you know, so obviously somebody has a different braking point than somebody else. 15 was able to come down through and just got into the rear just enough there to spin them around, but these guys are going to be okay.
So Eric Lyda going to be able to get his lap back with 33 going around the pace car, rejoining those on the lead lap. That's going to leave one car 2 laps down. It's Jake McDonald. Top 9 cars all on the lead lap once again, as we are under caution number 2 here at lap 40. And honestly, this has been what I was expecting out of a short track. Now, the trick is to not let tempers flare when it's this early into the race, Rick, as we've seen before. That can bite you.
It definitely can, Chris. I mean, it's short track. I mean, this is one of the shortest tracks. It actually is the shortest track that the NASCAR Cup guys actually race on. Here we are with the Xfinity cars. It's going to be the same thing here. You know, so these guys really have to just got to keep those tempers. You know, it's still a long race. You know, we are on lap 40 already of 200, so the laps are ticking off. But you got to keep your cool. If you don't keep your cool, you're going to start missing your marks. When you start missing your marks, you start making mistakes.
I just saw a car. I'm not sure who that was. I'm looking right now. Somebody hit the inside wall under caution. It was almost like they lost steering wheel for a minute. It might have been Hager in the 5. It was definitely Hager in the 5. The left front of that car is very beat up, and that could affect the handling of that 5 car. As the pace car lights go off, getting set to go back to green flag racing. Thomas Wagner up front, James Miller running second. And look at that third spot, Kevin Juderich.
Yeah, Juderich having a good night, Chris, is doing what he has to do. I mean, he's one of those quiet drivers that kind of just do what they have to do throughout the race, and then he really starts mixing it up there at the tail end. One interesting fact that I just found out, Chris, the qualifying record for Xfinity cars here at Martinsville was put on by Clint Boyer with a 19.735 seconds. So I want to congratulate the number 25, James D. Miller, for actually beating that just by a little bit.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. When you can start comparing the sim to real life, then you know you got something special. And we got something special right now as James Miller just fought his way on the outside around Thomas Wagner for the lead.
We knew it was bound to happen, but Wagner's not giving that up too easy, though, Chris.
Yeah, Thomas is doing something now that he hasn't had to do all race, and that is to try and catch the back bumper of Miller. And this is going to get interesting because they definitely have 2 very different brake lanes, 2 different accelerator lanes. Wagner's going to have to figure that out as he gets into the back bumper and gets loose. Oh, Wagner manages to stay off from the wall and comes back out on track. Kevin Juderich was able to get around him, but Wagner fighting back on the inside. The 43 not willing to give up that second spot that easy on the inside going into 1 and 2. Wagner stacks it up just a little bit behind him. The 45 had to get on his binders just a little bit, causing a chain reaction behind. And look at the gap now, but the 43 really trying to figure out how to get back to the front. And man, what a just awesome racing right there.
It is, Chris, and noticing just watching a couple of these guys are starting to push a little too hard because they're starting to, as they're entering the corners, they're really pushing up towards that outside wall, and that's exactly what these guys got to do. They got to take a deep breath. The tempers, they're definitely starting to play already. I mean, this is a short track, and it's bound to happen. I mean, anybody who says that it's not going to happen, maybe the first place guy, whoever's in first doesn't have to worry about that, but everybody else is battling for position. Got to keep a cool head, take a deep breath, do what you got to do, hit your marks, and have a good race.
Yeah, just stay smooth. That's the best advice you can give. Just stay smooth as Thomas Wagner trying to fight to the inside of the 6. And not going to happen that turn. But boy, he gets close. So Wagner right now looks like he actually is getting into the corners really, really well. Kevin Gieterich was having to fight him off. Ooh, pushes out to the outside is Wagner. Wagner, that bit of run should have a really nice run into 1 and 2. I mean, still not able to make the pass, but when he was on the outside, that was going to give him some good front stretch speed. Not able to capitalize that time by. Wagner keeps it down a little bit lower this time. Oh, gives a 6 a push. And the 6 goes around, hits the inside retaining wall. We're under caution again. Kevin Gieterich goes around.
One person who didn't want to see that, Chris, was James D. Miller there. He was running on almost a second ahead of Gieterich as they were racing there until that incident happened.
Yeah, we were on the board watching that one. As you see, the 43 was behind the 6 car. And Wagner was just able to get on the gas way sooner than Kevin Gieterich, and he did get into the back of him. Unfortunate, but we'll go back one more time here and see if we can't pick it up. I think it's going, yeah, it will. I mean, here we go. So the 6 went high that time, and Wagner was able to stay down a little bit low. He had a really good run. And it looked like he was just able to get on the gas a little quicker than Kevin was at that point. So we go back under caution, lap 53 of 200. Remember, the first official caution, the first stage caution, is going to be at lap 65. Looks like James Miller, Thomas Wagner came down pit road to have service, as did the 45 of Troy Leonard. So they will have fresh tires for about 10 laps, Rick. That, the field's not huge. That could be a difference maker here.
That definitely could be, Chris. I mean, right now, like you said, we're under caution number 3 for 13 laps so far. We got 147 left to go. There's only been 2 lead changes. But yeah, I mean, that's the thing. These guys are going to be racing hard. I mean, we're talking about stages. We're talking about points. It is a long season, but every point counts here. So these guys want to win these stages. They want to come in. I mean, right now, everybody's guaranteed pretty much at least a point, no matter where you finish in the field. Obviously, it goes higher the further to the front that you win that stage. But right now, every point counts. These guys, they know that a lot of the big heavy hitters out there are not here tonight. So they want to get as many points as they can and try to capitalize on that. And I think we're in for a really good race here to the end of the stage 1.
Yeah, stage 1, 10 laps away. And K.R. Stolfus, I'd be remiss if I didn't say he came to get some. Pace car lights should be going out here, Rick, and then we're going to go back green flag racing. There's a few drivers out there that have fresh tires. You know who doesn't? Your race leader, Matt Gruenberg. You know who else doesn't? The guy in the 6 car, Kevin Gieterich. Kevin has been out there for 25 laps on that set of tires, and that could spell danger for anybody that's behind him. We've seen already on fresh tires, Wagner on, was it the last restart, I believe, or the one before that, spun his tires on fresh tires. On fresh tires, he spun them, So man, watch that 6 car. He may spin him again. He's got points leader James Miller right behind him, Rick.
Yeah, it's going to get real interesting, Chris, as we get ready to go green here again. See what happens here. Ooh, looks like the 6 got a little loose there, Chris. I saw somebody tap the wall, too.
Yeah, 6 got loose because he spun the tires, Rick. And he's got Wagner. Oh, we're going 3 wide into the corner here. Oh, my goodness, Martinsville not set up for 3 wide, but Wagner was looking hard. James Miller into the 6 car, and then into the outside wall. We got to change cameras. I promised him I would. Matt Gruenberg up front. Troy Leonard running in 2nd spot. James Miller running in 3rd. We can't talk about it, but it happened. All right, I have to. We're going back to take a look. James Miller is definitely involved in that one, but it started up just a little bit in front of him. Actually, it started with him because he had the inside line. Gierich was kind of hanging out in the middle, and oh boy, yeah. Hey, short track racing. We've said it many times here, and it's true yet again. We are under caution, and this one's probably, let's see, lap 50. Yeah, this one's probably, it's not going to take us to the end of the stage, but it's going to be like a 1-lap shootout for it.
Yep, it will be just a 1-lap shootout, Chris. I think that's where we're going to end up. But again, that goes back to what you're saying. You know, you're saying Martinsville not set up for 3 wide. You know, it's even tough here to be doubled up. I mean, there is not a lot of room on this track, and that's exactly what happened there during that caution. There was just a big gaggle of cars there, and unfortunately, everybody ran out of room. If anybody out there in the stands, we want to thank everybody out there watching tonight here, hanging out with us on MaxSpeedTV. We appreciate it. We know that there's some real-life racing going on. Probably watching a lot of your favorite drivers on the service, too, as they're doing the NASCAR iRacing Series there, driving in Daytona tonight. I hope to do that tomorrow. But listen, we appreciate you all coming out here tonight. And if you want some Martinsville dogs, get them now, because if KR's out there, he's going to eat them all.
He already ordered 10. He doesn't share.
No, he does not share. He's not a share.
So, Gruenberg up front still. Troy Leonard actually has moved up to 2nd. Thomas Wagner going to be restarting 3rd. Eric White a 4th. Jake McDonald going to be starting in 5th spot in that 15 machine. Kevin Jederich in the 6th. He's had a hard night. He's been involved in a couple of them. And I can't say that any of them are his doing. It really comes down to when you're getting on the brakes, when you get on the gas, because that's what we've seen mostly here tonight. It's really just the difference of braking points and accelerator points. Jeffrey Fisher is going to be starting in 9th, Gabriel S. 8th, Jake McDonald 7th. I think that covers the whole field in some sort of convoluted way. J.R. Hager was out on track. He's now down 9, may have called it a night in that number 5 car. We saw heavy damage, and I believe he was having a steering wheel issue, if I had to guess. Rick, 9 or 10 cars can definitely make for some exciting racing. I was involved in one on Wednesday night. In fact, KR Stolfus was calling the action here on MaxSpeedTV. And I'll tell you, when we had 10 cars out on track, we had a blast. We had a lot of fun. Again, short track racing, very respectful, very fun. And I believe these guys are probably, when they look back, not in the heat of the moment, but when they look back, they're going to go, you know, that was a pretty fun race. But right now, pace car lights are off. Gruenberg on the bubble here, as he's got Wagner pushing him into the corner already. Wagner wiggles the rear end on that restart again. Boy, fresh tires, very important here. The 45 way out wide, got really tight, Rick. And we're going 3 wide again. Oh, no, they straightened it back out. They said, no, we're going to make it 2.
That was a pretty smart move there, Chris, as we come to the end of stage 1. Looks like Matt Gruenberg in that number 54, somebody who is no stranger to taking stage wins, Chris, going to be starting out tonight right where he wants to be.
Yeah, and you know who didn't really want to see that was James Miller. James Miller, your points leader. Gruenberg sitting in 2nd in points, only 14 points down. Oh boy. These guys are still racing. It's caution, and they don't care. They're like, nope, full throttle, don't care. We're going for it.
I think we're pretty much going to see everybody come down pit road here, Chris. I mean, why not? You know, it is the end of the stage, doing what they have to do. They're going to get some fresh tires, maybe repair a little damage that are on these cars. And, you know, like you said, man, just because there's a small car count, that does not mean that there's not excellent racing. And these guys are doing a fantastic job here at Martinsville. They're taking on the Paperclip tonight, Chris. We're going to find out.
Yeah, they
who's
are,
gonna
Rick.
take it.
And you know what else? I think we're going to go ahead and take a quick break. Let us rest our voices for just a moment. Guys, we'll be right back. And we are back. Short intermission. Rick shoved 2 hot dogs in his mouth and made me laugh. I spilled water out of my nose.
They're good, though, buddy, let me tell you. I mean, you know, up here, up north, where we're from, and here in Vermont, we call these things Michigan dogs, but, man, are they good. You put a little mustard, a little onions. Some of the best.
No lie, Rick. Guess what I had for lunch?
I bet you had a grilled cheese sandwich.
No, sir. I went out and got a couple of Michigans.
Well, one thing you didn't have, though, was a Bry's Fries Michigan dog. You're going to have to hit that up this summer, brother.
Yes, sir. Second stage, I'm being asked, when is that? It's going to be at lap 130. So we got a little ways to go for that. Fuel run, if you're just tuning in, fuel run is about 65 laps. So if we can go green, we've got enough fuel in the tanks to make it. Total distance for tonight's race going to be 200 laps, 105.2 miles. And so far, if you're just tuning in, you've missed a heck of a start to this one. A lot of excitement. Not a lot of cars, but man, the excitement's been here tonight. Rick, you're getting an order for 1 hot dog, and he'd like you to go to him. So I know there's an additional fee for that. I'm not sure what it is.
I'll definitely do the best I can, Chris. KR kind of wiped him out, but hey, we're under green again. Matt Grunberg gets a really good restart, Chris. But there's the number 25, James D. Miller, doing what he has to do. Thomas Wagner's right there. He's been leading a lot of laps here tonight. He wants to lead some more, but right now these guys are really putting on. Whoa, James Miller, 25, really went into that corner hot, Chris.
James Miller looking to reassert himself to the lead in the 25. The pole sitter finally getting himself back up front. He has led 10 laps to this point, but look at this. Thomas Wagner trying to follow suit. And on the outside, Grunberg fighting back in the 54. The action really picking up here right now. Rick off from a caution flag. These guys have been able to think about it for a minute. They got packed back together. And here we go with some exciting racing once again.
Definitely, Chris. They're all trying to catch up Thomas Wagner. Thomas Wagner has led 42 laps tonight so far, Chris. Matt Grunberg and that number 54 has led 19. James D. Miller, he's working on lap number 12 right now. He's got 11 in the books right now. Boom, there's 12. Doing what he has to do. But man, does he have some pressure from behind for Matt Grunberg and that number 54 machine.
Yeah, Grunberg was looking to the inside. Didn't have quite enough speed to get there. Fell back in behind Miller in the 25. But that 54, don't count him out yet. And Thomas Wagner hard into the corner, pushed out towards the wall, and dives down to the inside. Thomas Wagner trying for second, gets into the 54. The 54 able to hold on. The 45 goes to the inside. Leonard trying to take advantage of the 54. As you see the left side of that car, very heavily damaged right now. And man, oh man, Grunberg going to be looking to fight his way back. The battle is on this short track racing. Man, it's going to be good, Rick.
It definitely is, Chris. Right now, the 54 is on the or the inside of the number 45 machine, trying to take over that position, doing what he has to do. But right now, they're kind of just drag racing, doing what they have to do right now. The 54 has a little bit of a lead here, Chris, and I believe he is. Oh, that was close there at the start-finish line. These guys are having fun.
Hang on, Rick. We've got Thomas Wagner to the inside of the 25. The front row battling out yet again. And by that, I mean these guys started on the front row. They're on the front row again. The 43 sneaks into the inside. Mayhem gave a little push. Ooh, we see Miller. No, I can't talk about that. The 25 now in second spot. It's an inside joke, folks. James Miller and I get it. So Wagner again launches himself to the front. He has led 43 laps here tonight, Rick. And this is about the best I've seen Thomas run. And you know what else I've noticed? Not one blink out of that 43 tonight.
No, I don't know if he restarted his modem or did what he did, or the iRacing gods are with him, Chris, but the number 43 doing a really good job tonight. No blanks doing these, hitting his marks. I've seen a couple of times where he's coming out of the corners a little bit too hard and that car slides around, but let me tell you, one person with car control, that is the number 43 of Thomas Wagner, the yo-yo man we call him. I mean, usually he's somewhere in the front, then he moves to the back up to the front again, but not tonight, man. Tonight he's been constantly up towards the front, doing a good job tonight. James Miller trying to look on the inside, trying to figure out what he can do to get around that 43. These guys always put on a good show when they're racing together.
Yeah, this has been pretty good racing up front. And Matt Gruenberg has gotten around Troy Leonard. He reassumes the third spot, and you know he is driving with red in his eyes. He's trying to get back up to the front. Wagner goes... Oh, boy, Wagner able to keep it going, but, man, did he get loose. And loose again as Wagner's spinning those tires. Not good for the tires to do that, by the way. Wagner's lost a lot of position from first to fourth there. That gives Miller the lead. And Miller's got a 0.5 of a second lead over Matt Gruenberg right now in the 54. Behind him, Troy Leonard in the 45 going, come on, guys. My car's pretty clean. I want to keep it that way. And then behind him, Thomas Wagner. Eric Lyda in the 33 is, you mentioned her, he's one of those quiet drivers, Rick. Every week, we never seem to say his name very much, but here he is, running top 5, Gabriel Essick. In the 16, putting on a little bit of a challenge, then falls behind him. He's running in 6th spot. Jake McDonald in the 15. A little bit of damage on that 15 machine right now, but not too bad. And Jake is running in 7th spot. Kevin Jeterich. We saw him involved a couple of times early on. He's back in 8th spot. He's one lap down, trying to get that one back. Jeffrey Fisher in the 60. Go Fish. He is running in 9th spot, one lap down as well. That is the cars that are those are the cars that we have out on track, Rick.
Yeah, Chris, I mean, like you said, Eric Latta, we don't talk much about him usually, especially in the beginning of the race, but man, up towards the end of the race, he is always, right there, and right now he's doing a fantastic job. As you said, he's running in 5th position right now, so he is in the top 5, doing what he has to do with that number 33. I love the colors that he picked this week with the black and that dark green, man. It kind of reminds me of home a little bit, and it looks really, really sharp out on track. Troy Leonard is another one, Chris, with that beautiful green Coca-Cola car, doing what he has to do. Like you said, he's trying to keep that car clean. He's doing a heck of a job right now. He started 3rd tonight. Right now, he's sitting in 3rd, just doing what he has to do, trying to take it easy. He's definitely hitting his marks. He has really good lines as he's going around these corners here, going across the start-finish line, Chris, heading into turn 1.
Troy Leonard looking very good out there. Thomas Wagner looks like he's recovering from, well, he got tight. Let's say he got tight, and he did get into the wall a little bit, the right front showing the damage. David Osick, another one of those just really clean cars out there. Not pushing too hard at the beginning of this race. Still only lap 89 of 200. Eric Lyda right behind him. That will be for position, so something to keep an eye on there as we take a look out front. James Miller still leading the way. He's got about 0.6 of a second lead right now.
But Matt Gruenberg's not somebody that you want to try to relax on, Chris, because that 54 machine will be right up on your back bumper in no time. We've seen it multiple times. Gruenberg is really, really good. He's a calm racer most of the time. He'll sit there, he'll run his laps, do what he has to do. I think what he's doing right now is he's actually studying the number 25 of Miller, trying to figure out exactly where his braking points are, what he's doing, what lane he's running, and trying to figure out a way right now in his head to get around that number 25.
We're going to pick this camera angle right here just so we can watch the 54 get around the track. see if we can see any difference between him and the leader as far as what lines they're picking. We see that he is up towards the wall, heading into turns 1 and 2. Should get down very close to that yellow line. Very close. Good job there. Gets back on the throttle. Out towards the line. About a foot between him and the wall, which is about right. Down into 3 and 4. Again, about center. He just about touches that yellow line. 54 running a very clean line. We'll take a peek now at James Miller so we can try and compare the two. Miller actually climbed that curbing just a little bit. Got to be careful of that, Rick. You will get yourself loose. Into 3 and 4 now, as he does not quite go down as low as Gruenberg is going, and across the start-finish line. So slight differences in those lines that they're running, and the difference is starting to show up on track as they lead now down to about 0.2 of a second.
Yeah, there's definitely some different lines being run here. I mean, Martinsville is a small track, so I mean, there's really not many lines that you can run. I mean, obviously, the guys usually tend to get right down into those corners, nice and deep, doing what they have to do, and they come out towards the wall. That's one thing you have to worry about, though, Chris. You get a little bit too hard, that wall comes up really quick, and that's where you scrub. With those safer barriers there, actually, the wall has kind of come into the track a little bit. So these guys are doing a really good job. We see a little bit of smoke coming off the tires there, doing what they have to do, though. Right now, James Miller, he is in a happy place. But how long is that happy place going to last? Because you can see that 54 is getting right up onto his back bumper. And all he has to do is just tap that just a little bit, and he's going to be able to move him and make a pass.
Yeah, there's a difference between tapping a little bit to make a pass and tapping enough to spin out a driver. And it's probably tougher in the sim than it is in real life. Right? You don't have all the feelings that you would. Oh, Miller gets really tight, had to get on the binders and bring that 25 back under control. That almost allowed the 54 to get into the back bumper. Able to stay off this time, though. A broken leg and a broken collarbone. Oh, my goodness.
Ooh.
Oh, no. Well, Mrs. Lyda, I hope that you are on the mend, almost better. And obviously, we love to give this entire league love. So, boy, yeah, I hope you're doing much better. I don't know what's worse, the leg or the collarbone. The collarbone stops you from sleeping, or the leg stops you from walking. I don't even know how you're getting around. You can't use crutches. Oh my goodness, what a mess. I'm very sorry to hear that. I'm glad you're on the mend, though.
And we definitely love giving Eric some love there. I mean, he is like I said, he's a good, clean racer. And I like how he races, Chris. I mean, it's hard for me to have that control. I mean, I usually want to try to get up front as fast as I can. And I know having you by my side helping me out, I mean, we do great broadcasting here, but you've always been that soothing voice that said, hey, listen, man, slow down a little bit, take your time, do what you have to do, and just make your moves and save it for the end of the race. And that's exactly what Eric does in that number 33 machine. That's what he's doing right now. He's falling back a little bit down to 6, doing what he has to do, though. That car is looking beautiful and clean.
Yeah, no problem there. As you were talking, Rick Gruenberg did get himself into the wall, so a little bit more damage to that right front, but able to continue on. You know, he scrubbed a little speed, not too bad. We're on lap 102 of 200. Remember again that the next caution flag, barring something happening, going to end at 130. And Rick, that gives us just enough time to do something I really love to do.
I hope I know what this is going to be.
Well, yeah, I think you do. We're going to crank it up here around this little short track. And again, thank you for all that have come out to watch here on a Friday night. This one's for you. I shouldn't have even started because look what happened. We are under caution. We're going to shut this down. Try and figure out what happened under caution because I was too busy on the cameras trying to figure it all out. Going to have to ask Rick. Rick, who was involved?
Oh, I'm checking my replay, Chris, with the new program that Rudy set me up with tonight. Thank you, Rudy, for that. Thank you also for the camera angles because it has been helping me out a lot here. And trying to find exactly what happened. It's not coming up on me. That's it.
Well, we're going to have to try and figure it out.
Oh, the 43, Chris. It's the 43. It looks like he was coming down into pit road. And again, we talked about this earlier. These guys going around this track. Now, this isn't a very fast track. But when you're coming into pit road, you have to slow down a lot to 35. And I saw Thomas Wagner there. It looks like he slid down through, hit the wall. I'm not exactly sure if that's what brought out the caution, no.
No, the caution
But
happened before
the 15.
that.
It's the 15 car, Chris. That's the 15 Jake McDonald. I see him spinning out there.
All right, well, we're on board with the 15 now. Oh no.
The 43 tapped him just, oh
yeah.
boy.
Yeah, the 15's going to have to give the 43 a postcard for the damage because, my goodness. Yeah, that's exactly what it was. 43 got into the 15, couldn't let go. Bumpers were hooked, and around they went. We are back live, though, with lap 106 being completed of 200. And Rick, remind me, we have not had a crank it up. We were about to. I was so close, man. I love those crank it ups too.
I'm sure we'll definitely get another one here, Chris, as we wait for this caution to end. Now, again, these laps ticking away very quickly, Chris. I mean, right now we're on lap 107, going to be 108 here in a second of 200. The next stage race, as we talked about, is going to be a lap 130. That'll be here before we know it, but yeah, that's quite unfortunate between the 15 and the 43 racing incident. I mean, that's just what happens, you know. Thomas was just coming off, doing what he had to do. He got hooked up on that bumper, and you saw it right there, man. That's just unfortunate. I feel really bad for the 15, but it looks like he saved his fast repair, Chris. That car's looking pretty good right now.
Yeah, that's something to keep in mind. There is one fast repair here at the Relentless Racing Series, and that means you're not done the first time you get caught up into something. Rick, pace car lights are off, man. Pacing laps are quick here. We are getting ready to go back green flag racing. Pace car does peel off onto pit road. 25, James Miller up front, getting ready to restart this one. And there he goes. The loud button has been pressed. The 54 on the outside. Wow, what a move on the outside. Not enough, though. James Miller able to keep the lead.
And I could give a lot of props to Matt Grunberg there in that number 54 machine, Chris, because usually the outside lane doesn't work, but he gave it a shot anyway. And it looks like iRacing played a little trick on me. The 15 did not use his fast repair, Chris. His car's still banged up.
Oh, no. Eric Lyda down pit road. Down 2 laps. And he's coming out of pit road now, but that's not where you want to be on this short track. You can go down laps very quickly here. Eric Lyda now getting it back up to speed and coming back out on track still. Well, he's sitting in 9th spot.
I think Lyda's looking to go down pit road, Chris, but this track is kind of like Bristol. It's very tricky on how you get into pit road, and that's something that I talked about earlier in the broadcast there when we're getting our start here. If you enter in the wrong position, you're going to lose a lot of time, and that's unfortunately what happened to Eric Lyda right now, as he is coming down into his pit for a service. I'm not exactly sure. I'm trying to figure, I mean, he's getting right side tires right now. That car looks nice and clean. I think he's on some kind of pit strategy here, Chris.
Well, it might be. With 113 to go, we'd have one more stop. But we have one more stop any. I don't know, Rick.
Hopefully Miss 33 is okay because Eric Lyda is still in pits, Chris. Did get a service. I'm wondering, there's not much damage on that car. I see there's some on the rear. And I'm wondering if he's just giving his crew enough time to fix a little bit here.
I'm going to say something may have happened in real life causing him to get out of the car for a minute. Maybe back, but right now he's been on pit road for well over a minute 20. Oh, there he goes right there, peeling off. So, I don't know. P-brake? Maybe.
I think he came in for a couple Martinsville dogs, brother.
Back out on track. James Miller extending the lead now 0.8 of a second over Gruenberg. And Rick, we're going to try this again. I am bound and determined we are going to crank it up. Short track, crank it up, you betcha. James Miller up front in 25, trying to see if he can't secure himself a stage win. Rick, we've got about 13 laps before that. No, excuse me. We have about 7 laps now to go before we get to that next stage. My math is awesome tonight.
Well, I warned you about using that common core during a race, Chris.
Yeah, I just couldn't put all the lines where they needed to go in time. But I'll tell you who is. James Miller doing a fantastic job up front. 0.8 of a second lead over second place Matt Grunberg. Matt Grunberg did win that first stage. And Miller would love to get that point back behind Grunberg. Thomas Wagner in the 43. Thomas has had a pretty good race. He brought out the last caution on the back bumper of the 15. But all in all, Wagner has had a fantastic race. And he's led 46 laps, second only to Miller now, who has led 59.
I mean, it's been a really interesting race, Chris. I mean, it amazes me what these guys do week in and week out, man. I mean, I'm sure they're probably looking forward to having next week off there. I mean, for us, what are we going to do? We'll have to figure out something to do. But right now, they're putting on a heck of a show, and Miller with that beautiful paint job there, supporting breast cancer awareness, man. He's exactly where he wants to be right now. Led 61 laps so far. Started this race first, now he's in first.
Yeah, he's got 6th place. Kevin Jeter, it's right in front of him. And Kevin, that car not handling the way he wants to. You saw him diamond the last corner, or the last 2 corners, really, which means that car is pushing. And, you know, he does have 19 laps on the car. Yeah, I mean, it's going to start pushing a little bit. Tires are going to go away. But he's got to find some speed on that 6 car, or else James Miller is going to catch the back bumper of that 6 and put him a lap down.
I mean, what's been really interesting, Chris, so far tonight, we've had 5 lead changes. And that's just amazing to see here at Martinsville. I mean, I know it doesn't sound like a lot, but I mean, it is hard to do what these guys are doing on this short track. It is hard to pass for position, and we are under caution.
Caution flies once again. And I gotta think. Oh, I don't know. I don't know where it came from. Let's go back, just so we don't lose it. On board with Troy Leonard. I don't know that it was him. In fact, I'm not sure who it was, but we're looking. Not Troy Leonard. All right. Oh, what am I doing? Rick, we're on lap 131. James Miller. Oh my goodness.
Okay, well, I can't say anything, Chris, because I was sitting here, I'm trying to find it too, and I'm like, boy, why does it keep bringing me to Thomas Wagner? And then I look up, and I'm like, oh, okay, it's lap 130. So, boom. Stage 2 is now complete, folks.
Stage 2 is done. Miller was the leader coming to the start-finish line. Looks like he's coming out of the pits, and, well, not where he wants to be, although it looks like a couple of drivers did not come down pit road. Thomas Wagner, though, he did. So Wagner's going to be up front. But congratulations, James Miller, Stage 2 winner.
James Miller, the driver, the number 25. I'm going to bring him up, Chris. AB SimSport. See how his race is going here. Number 25, James Miller. You got Chris and Rick up in the booth. You got a copy, buddy?
Yes, sir.
Hey, man, congratulations on Stage 2 win. Chris and I got a little confused there. We're watching all the action, trying to figure out where the caution came from before we even knew it. These laps are ticking away. How's your race going out there?
Pretty good. Just want to apologize to running into Kevin there, fighting for that Stage 1 win. I just completely messed up my entry and bounced off the curb, so didn't want that. Ended up hitting the wall. I think I knocked a toe out and accidentally used the quick repair. So just trying to keep this car clean to the end here. Definitely in a good position, being out front, but messed up that pit stop. So got some work to do here, but I feel pretty confident that we can get it done.
Well, I'm sure you can, brother. I'm going to get you back down there with your teammates. Congratulations on the Stage 2 win. Keep up the good work, man. So far, you've led 65 laps, and we look forward to seeing that number 25 back up front.
All right, thank you.
There we have. That's the number 25 driver of the number 25 car. That's James D. Miller of AV Simsport doing a good job there. The pace car is off, Chris. We are back, getting ready to go green. Right now, so far, we have Matt Grunberg sitting in first position. He's going to be taking this field to green as he goes. Gets a really good jump there from the number 43-25. Boom. He talked about it, said he had some work to do, but man, James Miller right back in there in the mix, going on the inside of the number 43 car. They're trying to catch Grunberg right now. Grunberg is fast. He hit that pedal just perfectly. Got a really good restart there. That car's a little damaged, but hey, it's not a big aerodynamic track at all. Doing a great job out there. Right now we have Matt Grunberg still leading. We got James Miller moving up into second, Thomas Wagner into third, Troy Leonard in fourth, Gabriel Ishik, we haven't talked much about him lately, in the 16. He is sitting there in fifth. We got Jeffrey Fisher in the 60 in sixth, Kevin Jeterich in seventh position, Jake McDonald in eighth, Eric Lyda, the last car on the track, sitting in ninth right now in the number 33, Chris.
Yeah, and right now, Grunberg, as you said, up front, and man, is he pulling that 54 to new heights. 8/10 into the corner, 7/10 out. It's the lead. Matt Grunberg is getting it done. James Miller trying to figure out how to get back up front. Thomas Wagner gets a little tight there, Rick, as he got up on the track just a little bit. Leonard may have tried to take a peek, didn't have the run really at that point. So top four cars all in camera shot. And so there's a little bit of gap back to the 16 of Gabriel Essig. And then Jeffrey Fisher right behind in the 60. So laps are really winding down here, Rick. They go by quick, less than 20 seconds a lap here for the race leaders. And we've only got 61 laps to go.
61 now, yeah, it's across the line, Chris, to win, and good job. I mean, they're doing what they have to do. Now, what was interesting there, I know you got to take a little bit break, but I know you wanted one of them Martinsville dogs before KR ate them all. But listen, I brought up James Miller. We were talking with him. James is like, after that pit stop, I messed it up a little bit. I got some work. I believe he was sitting in sixth position there. I don't know what happened on the restart, but man, that 25 machine doing what it has to do. I mean, he's got a little bit of work to catch up to Grunberg and then number 54, but James Miller not happy with being in second right now. He is going to be working his tail off to try to take over the lead again.
Two things you can do here, Rick, as you're running in second spot. You can relax a little bit, hit your marks, roll the car through the center, not abuse your tires, and hope that the guy in front of you doesn't take care of his tires. And then eventually he's going to come back to you. Or you can put the throttle down, wear out the tires, and hope to try and catch a leader. It looks like Miller doing the very first thing. He is trying to take it a little bit easy right now. His lap times are about 1/10 of a second slower than Matt Grunberg, and that could just be letting it roll through the corners a little bit longer, Rick, saving those tires. Very important here on a short track. You don't want to get the tires worn out. You start pushing up. Look at that. Thomas Wagner showing off exactly what I'm talking about as he pushes way up the track. Troy Leonard behind him. Just watching. Just watching.
Well, that was the interesting thing, Chris. Miller in that 25, when he came in that pit stop, he accidentally had his fast repair click. So that car is fresh. And that's one thing that he said in the interview. He wants to keep that car clean for obvious reasons, and that's exactly what he's doing. I think he's doing kind of what I do on a track like this. If I'm lucky enough to be up there following the leader, number one, I know the leader's fast, okay, because there is a gap. So I'm watching his line. I'm going to try to duplicate that line. But I'm also studying him. I'm trying to figure out what he's doing, so that way, as these laps keep ticking off, I mean, we're getting closer and closer to lap 200. And I think what he's doing maybe is just trying to learn that line, trying to find a way in a spot where he can go for a lead. I mean, the gap's starting to close just a little bit there, so the racing's going to start happening. I mean, Miller knows, hey, listen, I'm in second right now. I'm in a safe spot. I don't have any pressure from behind. I'm learning what Grunberg's doing at number 54. And I got to try to duplicate that, and then I got to capitalize on that. As we saw right there, the braking point, maybe a little slick there. And Miller just starting to catch up just a little bit. So I think we're going to start seeing a run for the lead.
The gap right now, half of what it was a few laps ago, 0.4 of a second. So Miller is starting to catch. And that is, you got 17 laps on these tires now, Rick. If you're taking care of your tires here on this short track, if you take care of your tires, you absolutely will feel a difference in 17 laps. Now 18 laps, and look at the gap. It's closing. Every lap it's closing. It doesn't have to close by a full 10th every lap, although, wow, what a run there the 25 had. It doesn't have to close a full 10th a lap. We've got plenty of laps to go. He's just got to get on the bumper, make Grunberg think, and then maybe try and make him make a mistake.
Well, I think that's definitely what he's doing. I mean, I'm watching the battle right now for first and second place right now, Chris, and I'm seeing that gap close. I mean, it's 0.316 right now. A little bit earlier, it was in the 4. Now we're sitting at 0.200 right now. So we're getting ready to see a battle for the lead.
Yeah, right now Miller definitely faster in and through the center of the corner. Grunberg maybe a little quicker off. And that is what's helping him out. The gap went from nothing to half a second. But Grunberg gets into the wall right there. He's pushing that 54. I think he's pushing it a little hard.
And I think that's just because he's worried about that pressure. He knows that 25 car is fast. He knows Miller knows how to lead these laps because he's already led 65 of these of the 152 that we're running right now. So, in my thought process, Chris, maybe that pressure is doing exactly what you said. Maybe Miller's putting that pressure on, just hoping that Grunberg's going to make a little bit of a mistake, and he did it there. But as we keep going, we're hitting into lap 154, 200 right now, Chris.
Yeah, it's probably time to take a look at the rest of the field here, Rick, as we are on looking at Grunberg. Let's get the right bar out here, crying out loud. So Matt Grunberg, he started the 8th spot here tonight. He's currently leading and has led 42 laps here tonight. Behind him, trying to put the pressure on, James Miller in the 25. He started first tonight, but you know what, Rick? He didn't even lead the first lap. That was led by Thomas Wagner, who's right now running in third. Thomas Wagner started on the outside pole, and he has led 46 laps here tonight. He's had his ups and downs, and he has gotten in. He's had a couple of yellows that were his way. Troy Leonard in the 45, keeping it clean. That 45, I don't think he's used a quick repair yet, and that's one of the cleanest cars out there. Troy Leonard pretty much been in 4th place all night long here. He did start in 3rd. Jeffrey Fisher behind him. Fisher in the 60, started in 4th, currently running 5th. Kind of a quiet night from Jeff Fisher, and more of a quiet night from the chat, who's normally very strong pro Fisher. Gabriel Essick in the 16, currently running in 6th, and that's exactly where he started. It's been an up and down night for that 16, so actually being in 6th spot right now, not the worst thing ever. Behind him in 7th spot, and that battle would be for position, Kevin Jeterich in the 6th. And again, Kevin has had his share of trouble here tonight, but he is in 6th spot right now. Behind him, Jake McDonald. McDonald in the 15th. We've seen him go around. Maybe had a little help, but he's battled back. He's running 8th. He started in 7th. And then we have Eric Lyda. Eric was down on pit road for an extended amount of time, went down several laps, and has not been able to get him back. But Eric Lyda out there in the 33. Looking good out there, Eric. No problem found. But you do have the race leader right behind you, Matt Grunberg, looking to try and put you yet another lap down. And Eric's a clean driver. He's going to let that happen. No problem at all. Moves on to the outside. Matt Grunberg able to get around cleanly. And that is actually going to help extend the lead now 1 second, Rick, over James Miller.
And that's going to be a huge thing there with Eric Lyda there, Chris. A little bit of more space in between positions 1 and 2. Now Miller's got to get around the 33. Now, you know the 33, as we said, he's a clean driver. He knows what he's doing. He's going to kind of just do his thing, hold his line. Held up Miller there a little bit. I don't think there was any kind of fault or anything like that as he moves up and lets the 25 by him. But that's exactly what happened there. He used it as a little bit of a pick And that's going to happen, you know. I mean, it's short track racing. These cars are coming around fast. One thing I got to say, though, Chris, Eric Lyda always has a beautiful paint job. I don't know who paints those cars, but they do an outstanding job. And it's unfortunate, you know, that he's so many laps down tonight, but he did spend a lot of time down there on pit road.
Yeah, and I'm watching James Miller right now. That car not handling like it was about 10 laps ago. And you have 32 laps on those tires, so it's obviously it's not going to, but it seems to be affecting Miller a little bit more than it is Gruenberg at this point. Obviously, Gruenberg with a little bit more speed on those older tires, and the 25 trying to figure out how to catch that back bumper, but lap traffic is in the way. And again, the 16 now gets a shot in the rear bumper. 25 not able to wait. He's got to get people out of the way. Totally understandable there. And it looks like the 6 car of Kevin Jeterich is now the first car on the lead lap, or excuse me, the last car on the lead lap, and the 54 is going to try and figure out a way around him. But Kevin Jeterich, he's a good driver, Rick, and he's got not one but 2 cars there that the lead's going to pass. That does allow James Miller to close the gap here.
Yeah, it definitely does, Chris. I mean, the lap traffic, that's where the problem's going to be right now. And it's not out of any kind of disrespect to, you know, each other out there. I mean, Martinsville, small track, you got to do what you have to do. I mean, you have to hold your line. You have to try to race. As you see right now, the lap car is going on the outside, Chris, letting these guys by. But yeah, I mean, the 25 got a lot of heavy damage there on the right-hand side of that machine. But hey, he's doing what he has to do right now. We got about 34 laps to go, Chris. Man, this has been an excellent race tonight.
Jeffrey Fisher coming down pit road, deciding enough is enough on those tires. He would like a new set. Fisher down pit road. He is the only car so far who has opted to get tires. And I'll tell you what, Rick, that may not be the worst strategy of all. These cars slow down quite a bit over the course of a run, and he's going to be out there on new tires. If he's able to take advantage of a caution or something like that, he'll be able to stay out on track. Fisher may be trying to set up for a potential pit strategy win here. But I'll tell you what, I'm watching, and I haven't really clicked off of me here. Gruenberg, the race leader, is starting to get some pressure again from Miller. Those tires may have cooled down. Miller is on the hunt one more time, and Gruenberg's lead cut down to just 0.266 of a second. As we go 3 wide again in the back, the 15 has to let him go. Thomas Wagner was in the middle. Jeterich was on the inside, and the 15 car on the outside. Jake McDonald, no thank you, he says, and he backs it off and lets 43 and the 6 car go. 43 running in 3rd spot, so he is in for position. He's trying to get around the lap cars and just back up ahead towards the front of the field. You see that gap? Not much of a change there, Rick. About half a car length here in the corners.
Now, I was watching the 60 as he was coming into the pit stall, Chris. I'm not sure if he took, I had kind of a wonky angle there, the way that the pit road is here. But I'm not even sure that the 60 even took tires there. He might have just filled up on the fuel. Now, I just watched the number 16, Gabriel Ishik, doing what he had to do. He came in, he definitely got tires. He got the Sunoco racing fuel. He is back out on track now.
Well, let's do the math here real quick. We have a fuel run of about 65 laps. Our last stop was on lap 130. Guess what? You're going to have to stop. Unless you're in a position where you can save a ton of fuel, you'll have to stop. If this thing goes without a caution again for the rest of the race, watch out for Jeffrey Fisher and Gabriel Ishik, because...
Ooh, 43 around, Chris.
Oh no, Thomas Wagner going around. Not a lot, no damage.
No damage. He was able to keep it off the wall there. Looking quickly at the pit times of Jeffrey Fisher, Chris. 4 seconds, 4.43 seconds. So he definitely just got a splash of fuel.
Yeah, so Fisher was going for an opportunity to try and win the race if there was no caution. That's out the window. He might as well come down and grab tires now, because the 43, we're on board now on the replay, MaxSpeedTV replay. And you see the 43 heading on down the backstretch. Just overpowers it. Just overpowers it. Goes sideways. Doesn't even go around. I'm surprised that iRacing even called a caution there, to be honest with you. Very surprised.
I think what that came down to, Chris, is just the tire wear. I mean, these cars have been on these tires. As we see James Miller, 25, he is in this pit stall. The right side is up. He is getting fresh tires there. The left side's going up now, so he's going to be coming out here with 4 brand new tires. Just like you said, I mean, this is what you would expect these guys to do. Thomas Wagner comes in. He's getting the same thing. 45, Troy Leonard doing exactly the same as everybody else. So this is going to get interesting, man. We got about 24 laps left to go. We've had 8 cautions tonight for about 36 caution laps. 6 lead changes against, what, 3 drivers? These guys are putting on one heck of a show, Chris, but we are getting down to the wire right now. Like I said, 28. It's going to be 22 laps to go here. And yes, Fisher is coming down pit road. I see that 60 car. The right sides are up, so he's doing exactly what you said, Chris. He's down here. He's getting those fresh tires, a little splash of fuel, ready to go.
Interestingly enough, Kevin Jeterich stayed out on track long enough to lead a lap, so collects those bonus points and then comes down pit road. Jeterich going to be on the lead lap, though. So a good call from his pit crew to stay out on track, lead that lap, and then come down and get tires, as he does pick up that bonus point for staying out and leading a lap.
And again, we talked about that a lot, man. I mean, points, people don't think 1 point really does anything. There's a lot of drivers tonight that are not here. It's a very long season, Chris. 24-week season. These guys are doing everything that they have to do. We're on, what, week number 5, I believe, if my memory is correct. And so these guys, if you're out there, you're getting 1 point. Hey, that's 1 point that you might not get next week or the next time you're out on track. So definitely a smart move to be out there, get that extra point for leading a lap, and do what you have to do.
Pace car lights are off, Rick. Matt Gruenberg going to reassume position up front as the race leader. James Miller going to be on the outside. Troy Leonard going to be restarting in 3rd. Thomas Wagner restarts 4th. Then it's Kevin Jeterich. We just talked about him. He's going to be restarting in 5th spot. New tires, not new car. Jake McDonald.
New car,
going to be starting 6th. I'm sorry, go ahead.
That's okay. I was just going to say, Miller, he's on the outside. That's exactly where, he's got Thomas Wagner right behind him, Chris. But let's see how this is going to work out here as we're under green. The 54 gets a really good restart. Is the 25 able to do anything? He's going to be kind of stuck there on the outside lane. Thomas Wagner, the 43, kind of closing the gap there a little bit.
Yeah, Wagner all by himself in the 2nd row. Gets a little tight, though. The 25 trying to hang on the outside into the wall just a little bit, discovering a little speed. The 54, Matt Gruenberg fighting for everything he can, and so is the 25. Got in way too hot. Had to get on the brakes as the 25 goes back into 3rd. Troy Leonard to the inside. The 54 goes around. The 25 gets into the 43. The 43 goes up, slows himself way down. Troy Leonard to the front. 43 goes around hard. We are under caution again. We're going to go back and take a look. A lot happened there.
There was a lot of outstanding battling right there, Chris.
So we see the 25, Ricky got into the wall. The 43 was to the inside. 25 actually had gotten out in front of the 54, but had to get on the brakes. He's on the outside, and Wagner moved up and then back down. Wagner got to the inside of the 54, which slowed him down. The 25 got into the slowed down 43. And then the 54 just knocked him out. Matt Gruenberg spun Thomas Wagner. Tempers flaring as we are getting closer and closer to the end. New race leader Troy Leonard in the 45. Troy has been up in the top 4, top 3 all night long. Finally able to lead a lap. He's led 3 now under caution, Rick.
It's going to get really interesting because we got 16 laps to go right now. We're in for a really good finish. I know these drivers, like you said, tempers are flaring. The thing that these guys don't want to do, they don't want to finish this race under caution, man. They want to be banging doors, doing what they have to do, and this is going to get real interesting real quick. Troy Leonard right where he wanted to be, Chris, at the right place at the right time, and that number 45, he's kept that car fairly clean all night, and it's paid off for him.
As we're going to restart, it's going to be Troy Leonard, Kevin Jeterich on the front row. To the inside, second row will be James Miller and Matt Gruenberg, who were just fighting over the lead. Now on the second row, third and fourth. Jeffrey Fisher, out of nowhere, running in the top 5. Thomas Wagner actually is down pit road right now getting service. So Jake McDonald pulls up into 6th spot. Wagner on pit road. If he's not careful, he could go a lap down even under caution. No, he's out on track again. So he did beat the pace car to the start-finish line. Wagner will remain on the lead lap, going to be starting in 7th spot behind Jake McDonald. Gabriel Isick 1 lap down, running in 8th place in the 16 machine, and Eric Lyda, who we've talked about it, Rick. He was out on pit road for an extended amount of time, lost several laps, not able to get those back, although, you know, he has gotten 2 of them. So Lyda doing everything he can to try and get back to the lead lap. It's just not going to be enough time tonight, I don't think.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right, Chris, which is very unfortunate for Mr. Lyda. I mean, he races hard every week. Martinsville just not his track tonight, but man, we are getting ready to go. We're on 13 laps left to go, Chris. We're getting ready to shake and bake, brother. Those lights on the pace car are off.
Lights are off, getting ready to go back green flag race to Troy Leonard has the honors of restarting this one with 13 laps to go, 12 when they cross the start-finish line. Troy Leonard holding. Hits the go button. Troy Leonard up front. Thomas, whoa, something's going on with scoring. All of a sudden, Thomas Wagner's scoring in the first spot. That's not right. He pulls off. Something happened there. Wagner letting it all straighten itself out here. As we've got action, heavy action. Miller to the front. James Miller reassumes the lead. Troy Leonard back to second. The 54, Matt Gruenberg to the inside of Leonard. Gruenberg trying to take over second on the outside, the 45, trying to reassume back position. Does have a by the nose going into the corner, but no, Gruenberg able to fight back on the inside. Thomas Wagner in the 43. Heavy damage. The 43 digs in way too deep, gets very tight, pushes the 54 out of the way. The 6 takes over second spot. Kevin Jeterich is in second. Thomas Wagner in third, and the guy laughing all the way, James Miller, as he's able to watch it all happen in the rearview mirror, starts to pull away from the field. Almost a 1 second gap now between Miller and Jeterich. The 43, Thomas Wagner running in third. Troy Leonard going to be running fourth, and Matt Gruenberg pushed all the way back into 5th spot, trying to get his way back. I guarantee he's trying to find the back bumper of the 43 tonight, Rick.
I think you're absolutely right, Chris. I mean, the tempers are flaring. Like you said, though, the guy who's happy about this is probably smiling right now is the number 25, James D. Miller. He has one heck of a lead here. But how long is it going to last? You got Wagner sitting in there in the number 43 machine trying to catch up to him. I mean, these two started on the front row. And how cool would that be if they battle it to the lead? Right now we have 7 laps to go. Not sure if there's going to be enough time because James Miller hitting his marks, Chris. Doing his corners, hitting his corners just right. Coming off, just the way he wants to. He's able to just take his time, do what he has to do. Lap traffic up ahead, but he doesn't have to worry about that. We now have 6 laps to go, Chris.
Matt Gruenberg back to 5th. Kevin Jeterich running in 4th spot. Troy Leonard 3rd spot. He did start 3rd. He's running 3rd. So, you know, a net gain of 0, but a 3rd place finish tonight. I think he's going to be pretty happy with that if it happens. Thomas Wagner has banged his way back up into 2nd, but he may be under attack. Leonard might be trying to put that 45 just ahead, as we saw him take a peek to the inside through turns 1 and 2. And it looks like he is definitely rolling a little bit better in the 45 than the 43 right now. But yeah, absolutely up front with a 1.5-second gap back to 2nd. James D. Miller in the 25. Absolutely getting it done here tonight. And you know what? Miller has led the most laps here tonight at 73 now, Rick. Gruenberg is a very close second in that regard, running 69 laps up front tonight. So Miller definitely getting it done in more ways than one here tonight. And he's got 3 laps to go to make this a race win here at the Relentless Racing Series.
What's been really interesting, Chris, is as these laps are ticking off, as you said, we got 2 to go now. And this is just, it's a wicked interesting, man. I mean, Miller's just pulling away from Wagner. I mean, the gap right now, 1.7 seconds. Man, that number 25 is on fire tonight.
Well, the 25 is on fire. The 43, heavy damage to the front end. It's not an aerodynamic track, but there might be enough damage to that 43 where it's not handling too well. But nonetheless, 1 lap to go. We're on board with the 25. James Miller looking to try and coast this one for the win. This one looks like it's going to finish under green, Rick, as we're coming out of turn 4. James Miller for the win in the 25. Thomas Wagner coming home second, and Troy Leonard third. Kevin Jeterich going to be fourth. That's a heck of a run. Matt Gruenberg fifth. Jake McDonald, Jeffrey Fisher going to be sixth. Jake McDonald seventh. Gabriel Esk and Eric Lyda rounding out the field here tonight. Congratulations to James Miller. So exciting. I almost lost it there. Yeah, a couple of celebratory hits. Not a lot of straight cars, not a lot of straight sheet metal out there, Rick. But I'll tell you what, man, it was an exciting race.
It was definitely exciting, Chris. And I mean, when you bring these guys to a short track like this, like Martinsville, you don't expect to see clean sheet metal. I mean, one car that is, the 33, he looks pretty good out there right now. You know, Troy Leonard, he kept his car pretty clean, but hey, what an outstanding race, man. Congratulations, James Miller.
Go through real quick the unofficial results here tonight. We've got Miller in first, Wagner in second, Troy Leonard bringing it home third, Kevin Jeterich in fourth, Matt Gruenberg fifth, and then we've got Fisher, McDonald, Essick, Lyda, and Hager rounding out your top 10. Those are the 10 that started here tonight. We've got 2 post-race interviews that we can do, one not in team speak. We'll get to those in just a moment. We'll be right back.
I was kind of worried with only 8 cars too, but they did a good job. Yes, sir. Wagner and Miller. Just double check Facebook. He's not in another room, so yeah, just second place. I was like, I keep looking to see if he's gonna pop in, but
back live, getting ready for the post-race interviews. It looks like third place finisher Troy Leonard is definitely not in TeamSpeak, so we're not going to be able to talk to him tonight. But congratulations to Troy for bringing it home in third. That's a really good finish here tonight, and that's definitely going to help him out in points. Rick, why don't we bring up second place finisher Thomas Wagner?
Thomas Wagner, you got Rick and Chris up in the booth. You got a copy, buddy?
I do.
Hey, man. Well, second place, man. I mean, what an outstanding race, number one. I mean, you know, small car counts, it didn't matter. You guys put on one heck of a show, man. You came into this race tonight. You started second. You finished second. Tell us a little bit about your race.
Well, first off, our government deals, number 43 was very, very, very quick at the first start of the race. I don't know what happened. It just fell off. The car just felt like it was underpowered past lap 65. But I don't know what was going on. It just wasn't there. I'd put 4 tires on it. I'd put 2 tires on it. It just wouldn't go. So at that point, I was basically taking my time, rolling through it, trying to get back to where I was. Top 3 all night. Troy Leonard, amazing job by him. I don't think I've seen him in the top 3 all season so far. We've had a few up and down races, but we're getting back on track. We're doing what we can. Other than that, I just knew at the end there, last 20 laps, I was in a really good position, and I was going to have to do something drastic to get back up to top 3, because I started 5th there, and I was trying to figure out what was going on and what I was going to do, but I just decided, unfortunately, I decided to move some people that they didn't get too happy with. You got to do what you got to do, I guess.
I mean, that's short track racing. I mean, you got to use that bumper. I mean, God made bumpers, and bumpers are made for bumping. So, you did what you had to do, man. Congratulations on the second. And you're absolutely right. I mean, Troy, I really wish he was in TeamSpeak here tonight, because it would be awesome to talk with him there. He did an outstanding job with that number 45 machine. So definitely try to get him into TeamSpeak for next week. I know we're off next week, but the week after, March 1st. Looking forward to it, man. Congratulations. Is there anybody out there on that car that you want to thank?
Government deals, Rossmaster, Pib, Sodas. Just going to talk a little bit about New Smyrna. We actually have, for this race, we actually have a partnership with the track. So that night, they're going to show clips of your guys' broadcast while they're racing.
Well, that's going to be awesome, man. That's something definitely to look forward to, and we'll get with you you guys there to make sure that we do it right, man. That's outstanding, number 1. Congratulations on that, and we look forward to it.
Yep, thanks, guys.
All right.
You're welcome, bud.
Congratulations to Thomas Wagner bringing that 43 home in second. You heard him. He had to do a little bit of moving, shall we say, to get there, but he did, and second place is the finish. We're going to bring up winner and points leader coming into tonight's event, James Miller in the 25 car. He was supporting breast cancer awareness, and that's a heck of a good cause, so why not? James Miller, Chris and Rick up in the booth. Do you have a copy?
Oh, yeah.
Hey, bud, listen, number 1.
I'm sorry.
No, hey.
That was awesome.
It's your time, James. You do whatever you want, but number 1, first of all, running a different paint scheme tonight, breast cancer awareness, taking the win. Listen, you took the pole. You didn't even lead the first lap, but you definitely came back strong. Led 77 here tonight. Let's talk about your race, and let's talk about the damage that's on the front end of that 25 car.
Yeah, well, like you said, I qualified pole, and then I don't know where Thomas came from, just flew past me on the outside, and I was like, oh, all right. I don't see how this is going, but yeah, just rode around behind him a bit, trying to keep the car, trying to find decent lines and figure out how it was going, and then later on in the race, the car was getting kind of tight and started downshifting through the corners to third, so that really tired me out all race. But luckily, I managed my shifts properly, and I didn't wheel hop it, so I'm glad I didn't do that. But yeah, I wish the car finished a little cleaner. Got a little rough there at the end. I'm sure it was pretty eventful on the broadcast, but proud of AV Sport team here. I know my teammates didn't quite get the finish they wanted, but good points paying day. Finally won one of these things, man. I knew it was gonna happen sometime, but
Well, when you have a little bit of a drought, you do start questioning yourself, and we've all kind of been there. But definitely brought it home tonight. The car, it looks like it looks. We're looking at the front end of it right now, and They can save the left front door, and they can save the left quarter panel and the roof, and I think that's about it.
Well, I mean, I could have tore it up more, so there's that.
Hey, listen, bud, is there anybody on that 25 that you would like to thank here tonight?
Yeah, just thanks to Jeffrey Fisher for bringing me on to the team. Thanks to Eric Lida and Jake McDonald for being my teammates, helping me out in the races, and thanks to Grandstand Video for being on the car. And feeling a little generous with running this breast cancer paint scheme. I going to donate $200 to cancer research. So.
That's really awesome, bud. Congratulations. First of all, to be able to donate, that's awesome. The cause that you're donating to is awesome. And your race tonight was awesome. Congratulations once again to James Miller and the 25, bringing it home in first place tonight after starting on the pole. What a great race. Rick, this was awesome, man.
Oh, it was an outstanding race, Chris. I mean, these guys did one heck of a job, and that's cool. I mean, you got a guy out here. I mean, we've talked about it before. You know, causes are very close to yours and mine heart. And to see that tonight, to see that 25 dominate this race, I mean, you know, he got the pole. He didn't get to lead the first lap, but he came back as the race went on, and he did what he had to do. Now he's donating $200 to breast cancer awareness. That's outstanding. Everybody did a great job out here tonight. I know it's a tough night. It's Friday. We have some real-world racing. We have the NIS series going on iRacing. But, man, it's been fun here. We are going to be looking at taking next week off, Chris, with these guys. And that was kind of cool, man. When we come back here March 1st, New Smyrna, they're going to be playing clips of our broadcast during the race down there, man. How cool is that?
Well, it's pretty awesome. I'm not going to lie. I'm going to have to be in good form for that one. Plenty of sleep that the Thursday before. But for tonight, anyways, it was a great race. Like you said, Rick, not a huge car count here at Martinsville, but it was big enough to supply plenty of action for 200 laps. And we can't thank these guys enough here at Relentless Racing Series. What a heck of a good ride here on a Friday night, and we look forward to doing it in 2 weeks from tonight. Get ready for New Smyrna. Rick, have yourself a great night. Everybody out there, thank you very much for coming out and watching MaxSpeedTV. We'll see you again real soon.
Take care.
Yeah.